Good evening, everyone.
Hello. Yes, well, we are all excited to be back in the office. Okay, are we starting now? It always does that little bleep, and I can't tell. Does it start after it does the bleep?
No, it starts as soon as 3 hits. Boom.
It does, doesn't it?
Yep, but then it just shifts the whole...
Yeah.
We're just being distracted by what the Facebook is doing right
the
now.
whole live thing has just gotten
shifted.
complicated compared to the way it used to be. You'd hit one button and off you'd go, and now it's just the whole page. I guess it's easier on the phone.
You get some stats, too. That's kind of nice.
Right, stats is fun. I want to start out tonight talking about 25 May. 25 May, we're going to have the very first tour at the Thayer Hotel out in Annandale. And that is our topic for tonight as well. So that's kind of neat. We're going to talk about, we went back out there, all right? And this was our third visit to the Thayer.
It's our third visit. Yep, we were going back to get reacquainted and just see what's going on in the place.
And we gathered up documentation on the different evidence and things that have occurred there. You know, whether it be to us as a team, haunting type events, or things that happened
to the staff and the guests.
Hey,
Jerry. Good evening.
Hello. And so that's a pile of stuff right there to talk about, because this place has been having activity dating back. I mean, I can't even guesstimate the number of years. Back to its origination. Well, there used to be a different hotel there, right?
Yeah, right near.
Or nearby.
Yeah.
And that place burned down in a fire. Now, in the old days, I know, and I've read this in other articles, they just didn't run down to Menards and grab all new 2x4s and siding. They would, if there was anything reusable, whether it be door handles, doorknobs, any lumber, they would reuse. They'd collect all that stuff in the building that that was torn down or maybe burnt partway down, and they would reuse it in the building of the new one. And when you do that,
you transfer energy.
You transfer all that energy there. And perhaps, and in this case, if somebody died in that fire, hello, Wanda Paul. If somebody died in that fire, how much are tickets?
Right. We got to rewind a little bit and get through that part first, I think. So, Wednesday night, May 25th.
Yes, and we're going to push out a whole deal on it here pretty soon.
We will, with the times and the cost.
I know they're creating some advertising, but we're looking at $15 a ticket. That's what we discussed. We had a big meeting on it. And but I know that she is putting together an advertisement on it, and as soon as that gets together, I'm going to start pushing it out on the websites.
Right, and the hours
and the Facebook.
What were we thinking, 6 and 8?
6 and 8, because of the fact that we intend to have our live show there. So on the Wednesday nights, which will be the last Wednesday of each month, starting in May all the way through Halloween, that those Wednesday nights we will do our show from the Thayer.
Right.
Just like we did the other night. And that's a pretty good time. We may have to find maybe a different area to set up that's, kind of out of the way a little bit.
I think so, yeah. Second floor, probably.
Right. So, anyway, we... Where did I leave off? I got so distracted.
So, you were just talking about originally the Charles...
Oh, yeah.
Just a block over or whatever, and it burned.
Yeah.
This is all back in the 1800s.
And not just that building, not just the hotel, but like that neighborhood, 2, 3, 4 buildings, all burnt, and we didn't get a death toll, so to speak. Do you remember research?
I don't. It didn't show it, actually. It just said the hotel burned. I don't think anybody died in that, though.
It doesn't sound like it.
I think they're reluctant.
But the spirits do talk about the fire. And 2 of the times we were out there, we did get EVPs that at least talked about the fact that a fire. Matter of fact, it is one of our EVPs that we're going to play at the half hour, at the 15 hour
halfway point.
We're going to play a couple of the EVPs from the most recent time we were out there. And one of them does actually say, yeah, there was a fire. But, so they definitely, it was a big event in town, and a lot of people knew about that fire.
That I thought, well, so I'll kind of talk through the first part. We were sitting there, just a couple of us, while the rest of the group was taking a tour of the hotel, and I started to feel like something going on with my nose, like something like a hair was going across it or whatever, and it was, I don't know. I was like, what's going on? You know, like be feeling self-conscious a little bit. Well, come to find out, the woman sitting across from me was having the very same thing, and it felt like a feather was being dragged across, almost teasingly, you know. And one of our other investigators was using SLS or whatever.
The SLS cam, yep.
And, you know, it mapped my
stick
image.
Figures.
But there was a stick figure standing right next to me as well. So just kind of getting the impression that the spirit there was being playful and, hey, here I am, you know, kind of thing. But that kind of leads into that same room. We decided to take a picture of the group. And I had set the camera up, and then I stepped back, and I kneeled to the right of the group. And after the picture was taken, I stood up, or as I was standing up, I stepped on what I thought was one of our investigators.
Right.
You know, just, I mean, it had the give of like I stepped on a calf or a foot, something that was soft. There was give to it.
Right.
And I turned around to say, hey, I'm sorry. And she was not right there. She had moved over. And if I stepped on her, she would have said something. No problem. But there was nothing behind me. And one of the other women there saw that as well. And she's like, I saw that.
Right.
And so I stepped on a spirit.
Stepped on a spirit.
I stepped on a spirit. I've never done that.
Now we've bumped into them. We've had them go right through our bodies.
Yep.
But
they touched. Everything. Yep.
Stepped to something new.
It was amazing. Yeah. It was.
And that kind of brings out a few different topics. Now, one thing, and we rolled in there, and we didn't know it at the time, but there also are two psychics that go to the Thayer. I don't know if they're there every week or how often they're there.
It's Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
I'm not sure how often either.
But anyway, the owners, who are good friends of ours, had invited them back for part of our investigation. And so at first it was kind of a surprise, but it ended up being a pleasant surprise, I would say.
It was. They were great.
Yeah, and you know, I think we all learned from each other different things. Now, we've worked with psychics before, and but this was a new experience. And what we did, we just kind of walked through the rooms with one of the psychics, and then walked through a second time with one of the other ones, and then we just kind of looked at all the information we picked up and see what kind of all matched together.
All compared notes.
Yeah, compared notes, along with the other evidence we were picking up in EVPs and whatnot. So, and that turned out to be pretty good, because we had one room where I had walked through with one of the psychics, and right away I was like, you know, there's something attached to the furniture in here. And it's probably like 45 minutes later, I come walking through with the other psychic, the second one, and she's walking around the same room, and she's like, there's something with the furniture in this room.
Yeah.
And it was just almost like repetition.
Well, and the good thing too is, while Russ was up there with the group, I was sitting with the psychic that wasn't going.
Right.
And we couldn't hear anything about, you know, that was
nothing
going upstairs. So that was a positive thing.
Yeah, so there's no way, you know, they could have heard by any means what we talked about. But we also had kind of in that same dining room, a couple people were feeling like they were kind of like itchy, or like maybe that goes with the feather thing. I don't know.
Right, yeah, I don't know. So we were sitting there talking. We kind of had come together again, and one of the ladies was sitting at a table near the wall.
Yeah.
And I had just seen something really strange. It's like caught it as I was like looking up. It was it either looked like stretch cotton candy or that fiberglass insulation, but it was like a strand of shimmering things. And then she said, "Man, I'm really feeling itchy." Like, so I don't know if that what I saw corresponded with that, but yeah, that was in the same room.
Yeah. It keeps telling us our frame rate is low. Are you guys able, can anybody report how well they can see things? How is the audio? We keep getting a message on here and we're showing that our rate is a little low.
Oh yeah, something dropped off for a minute.
I don't know if the internet isn't working the best tonight, but it says too low FPS, learn more. Well, frankly, I don't have time to learn more right now.
No, we're not going to learn more at the moment.
But anyway, so it is slow, huh? Okay, well, I cracked open the door. Now Mark and I are going to get a little chilly for a while. All right, Jackie, thank you.
Good.
And so we just popped open the door. Maybe we'll have more of a direct connection with our internet.
Oh, that feels nice too, that breeze.
It does. It'll keep us awake here for at least the show.
I don't think we have problems with that.
No. But so anyway, yeah, so one of the psychics was having this itchy side of the body feeling, and I went over and measured, and we were picking up
There was some
a significant amount of EMF that was in that area.
right.
And then later on in the night, a couple hours later, our investigator was down there at a different table, and she starts getting the same feeling.
The same feeling, yeah, the itchy and
Yep.
kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's hard to explain, what type of energies that might have been. I think we even asked at some point. Hello, Rochelle. Hello, Gina.
We got Stephanie and Shannon.
Yeah, I hope things pick up and get better because, like I say, we opened our door.
Oh, yeah,
And,
it looks good now. Like we're coming out of it.
We're coming out of the slump.
Sorry, just analyzing our.
I don't know if it's some of the weather or why our internet is so weird tonight, but so anyway, going on and on. So we went room to room in the hotel, and I tell you what, we picked up a lot of interesting EVPs for one, but a lot of interesting. I mean, working with the psychics kind of encouraged me to use my senses even more than we normally did.
Right.
Hello, Michelle. So I'm picking up things. Mark's picking up things, and you're letting your mind kind of soak in the, whether it be words or thoughts or different things
Right.
of the souls that had passed and were still in that building. And apparently there was quite a few of them.
It's a busy place. Still busy.
And I know that one of the last times we were there, there was this one room where there had been some trouble that they had.
Right.
It was the newlywed, right?
Honeymoon suite.
Honeymoon or newlywed?
Honeymoon suite. It's quite the room.
Oh, beautiful
It's got
room.
a big old 4-post bed and a big jacuzzi.
Big jacuzzi.
It's a well-appointed room.
Yeah.
It's nice.
The whole hotel's of the Victorian era, so to speak.
But that place, all the negative energy, just causing problems with the guests. And
Yeah.
you think you're going on a honeymoon or a date night or whatever, and just have this negativity just cause fighting.
And here they are, young couples, whatever couples. They're there trying to spend a nice, fancy.
Yeah, and then the woman's punching the guy.
Next thing you know, they're
in the
throwing
face.
stuff around.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know, but there was plenty of yelling going on up in that room, and
People leaving early.
people that would just leave early. They got in such a fight with their spouse or whoever that they just left the hotel early.
Yeah.
Just
sad.
horrible energy in there. And so when we were there, we went up to that room and we did a kind of just a more of a fine-tuned cleanse
Yeah.
and blessing of that room. And that was 2 years ago now.
2 years ago.
And we're kind of pushing back. But the neat thing is, here we are. It's 2 years later, almost to the month. It's same month even, I think. Same month, whatever. And nothing has happened in that room since.
They haven't had any problems since.
You know, no more fights, no more yelling, no more this, no more that. And that's just awesome.
That's great.
Really is just neat. And we had that happen again while we were there. One of the psychics that was with us, she was sensing some really bad energy in a spot. And we just went right after that one energy and kind of just plucked it out and got it out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did it help the room that we were in, it helped the room beneath.
It did. And actually the hallway and everything.
Because I think that energy was
moving back and forth
in that corridor right there.
And the hallway felt more peaceful as well.
And everybody commented, oh, all of a sudden it just got so much nicer. And you can just feel it, you know. But no need to worry. There's plenty of
spirits there.
Plenty of spirits
in fact,
left.
I'll wrap it up at the end here with what happened to me in the morning.
Okay.
So that's kind of a little going away.
Yep. You know, while I slept, I mean, I had weird stuff going on. Middle of the night, I was snoring. I had such a bad cold, it was ridiculous. And I had a hard time listening to myself. It wasn't even funny.
You know, I couldn't hear you.
You didn't hear?
No, I was across the hall, and I think when I dropped off, I was like a rock.
Yeah, it was just nuts. But yeah, I mean, we ended up with, we have no shortage of things to talk about. We have 9 pages of material here of things that we made notes on from there.
Yep.
But I think the biggest thing is, let's play some EVPs.
Let's do it. Those are always fun.
All right. So I'm going to play, I think on one of them I have the words, but it ain't going to help you because we're on the computer tonight. This one here, and disappointing, it sounds like she's saying, I'm on meth or on meth. But it's kind of clear. You guys let me know.
Once again, I feel racy and I feel
I don't hear the meth part. Like it doesn't stop. It's not at the end, you know.
Oh, okay. See, I was the opposite. I don't quite hear the I'm on, but all I hear is meth.
It sounds like a run-on word.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm on meth, and it's, but I mean.
Of course, that's not going to hurt her anymore.
Yeah. But the other part of that I kind of ran off and didn't let it play through, that's possible too, is the fact that right after that, one of the psychics was standing there, and she says, oh my gosh, I just feel, and she just did a rundown of all the symptoms of somebody who's on meth. Literally talked through, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it really went well together. All right, let's take a look at another one. And some, like I say, who knows how old some of these are. This one's about the fire. I'm talking about, hey, was there a fire here? Or somebody asked a question about the fire. And it sounds like a pretty clear yeah right after it.
There was a fire here. There was a fire here. There was a fire here. There was a fire here.
So, you know, whether the fire occurred a block down or wherever it occurred, maybe, you know, who knows if there wasn't a smaller fire too. Maybe in that building at some time years ago. But on more than one occasions, we picked up EVPs.
Right, about fire.
About fire. So they definitely know, you know, especially, and that also ages some of the spirits as well. Because, I mean, those fires were many, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one, this came after one of the rooms we worked in a little bit. And it sounds like to me it says something free, like we're free, but you know, we all hear differently. And I'll tell you what, my ears been plugged up like crazy with this cold, it's finally starting to loosen up a little bit. But, maybe I'm not hearing it so well. Let me know what you think. And that's a slightly different style of EVP than the, some of them that we play on here are really pretty easy to hear. Mm-hmm. But this, I gotta say, one thing about the EVPs that we picked up the other night, a lot of them were a little lower quality, let's just say.
Garbled, metallic-y.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of them that were too clear, and some were really, frankly, they were hard to pick out. I had a hard time picking some for tonight, but I'm just going to keep hammering them through here because, I went through a lot of work to get them cut.
Well, and it's interesting, too, that we had it was pretty active, and sorry, that was like a big bird flying by. But the EVPs weren't that great. But,
yeah, it was active. There was a lot of EVPs, but just hard to understand. Check this one out.
I'm curious about where she might be hanging out.
All right, I'm going to stop it just for a second because you can't see the words. But I'm said, curious where you're hanging out. And it sounds like the spirit says in a very haughty, throaty, I'm right there. And then I continue my sentence, finish it. And then it says what sounds like a last name sounds like Roberts. So if I explain that to you, maybe it'll sound a little bit better.
I'm curious about where she might be hanging out. I'm curious about where she might be hanging out.
Very, very breathy. And that, like I say, that was kind of the whole scenario of this investigation. Listening to that audio, just tons of kind of hard to hear. This one is got a little bit more tone to it.
The guy's probably sleeping on him. The guy's probably sleeping on him. The guy's probably.
So I'm saying about you're probably sleeping down there, and then there's like a high male voice. I can't even tell what it's saying. Maybe you guys can tell, but it's pretty easy to hear.
Sleeping on him. The guy's probably sleeping on him.
Yeah, not sure.
So I can't tell what it's saying, and sometimes that happens. They're not always intelligent responses either.
Right.
Sometimes they may be just kind of in their time zone, And that was really kind of a tough one. Here's one. Now, this one is questionable. Now, this voice sounds a lot like the owner, but I was there on the scene when this occurred, and I did not hear her say this. She does not remember saying this. It's as if the spirit took over her voice, and the spirit talks through her voice and says, "Sir, what's going on?" See what you think.
Because
Sir, what's going on?
Oh
Sir,
my gosh.
what's going on?
I hadn't heard that one.
Sir, what's going on? Sir, what's going on? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know if that was a normal noise.
That's totally her voice. That's amazing. So we've got a mimic.
We've got a mimicking spirit, yep. And, there's just no reason and right at the beginning it says, and I don't think I had it in the cut, but it says, I think it says Judith. And then it says, "Sir," and it absolutely fit nothing in the conversation.
And why would she say that right in the middle of?
In the middle of a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
And it's not like that's unusual. We've had that happen plenty of times before.
Plenty of times, yeah.
Where the spirit will just take your voice and change the words.
But that's amazing. So she asked how old the building is. It was built in what, 18?
Yeah.
1894.
1894.
Or 95. Sorry.
Yeah, 95. Yeah, by Albert Augustus Thayer. And along with the Sioux Line Railroad Company, when the other hotel burnt down in 94, they got together and said, hey, we got this railroad line coming through here, people coming all the time, and they just needed a place for people to stay. So together they teamed up and built the Thayer. And originally had 22 rooms.
Right.
I think now they're running about 9 because the rooms were, bathrooms were added and this and that.
Yeah, 85 they pared it down to 12, and now only 9 are open at this present time.
But 9 very awesome rooms. It is a very, very
beautiful.
intriguing and beautiful place. So so that's kind of some of the EVPs. Not quite as clear as some other ones, but that doesn't mean there was a shortage of them. There certainly was plenty of EVPs we picked up. I know Melissa, who was with us, and unfortunately she's working tonight. She actually was going to join the show, but she ended up at work. Kind of a bummer. But she had a couple EVPs she wanted to share, and so we're disappointed that she couldn't make it tonight, but maybe we'll catch up with her later.
Yeah.
And give her a chance. Maybe she'll come to one of the live shows. 1895. Thank you, Colleen. And so, yes, but I can't say enough. These tours, we're going to be providing a lot more information. Like we say, we have about 8-9 pages so far that we're kind of working on of material that we'll be talking about at the tours, as well as just having the opportunity to see the place. It is really decorated up nice.
And the food's great.
And the food, oh my gosh. I had food that, my plate lasted me for 3 days. I had so much food on there. Oh, it was good and it was inexpensive. We really enjoy this place, Mark and I. And that's one of the reasons we're rolling in there and we're going to do these tours, because we just really respect the owners.
Yeah, they're great.
And we respect the hotel itself, and all the energies that are about it.
Yeah, we've had some great experiences there.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's going to be interesting. There'll be 2 tours a night, and they'll probably last upwards of 45 minutes, we talked about. And we're going to have one tour kind of for the, you can go and have dinner, because if you have dinner, you're going to get a little discount in there, And then in the middle, we'll have the show like we're doing now. And then after, we'll do a kind of a lake tour for the other people eating dinner at that timeline. So, and I think that's going to be really successful and a darn good time. So I encourage you to come check it out.
Absolutely.
If anything, just because it's a beautiful hotel. And they do have a little lounge there. And,
bar and
it's got it all.
It does.
So, well, I tell you what.
Let me wrap up the last.
Yeah, tell that last story.
So I woke up at 6, and while I was up, I was hearing humming, and it was really cheery. It was like, almost like sounded like a maid going about her business, enjoying her morning. But when I poked my head out in the hallway, I didn't hear it anymore. Then a little bit later, then I heard women's voices, and that's something that you had heard as well.
Yeah.
In the hallway. Once again, nothing was there. But the craziest thing is I went downstairs and in the back of the hotel, and I was using the bathroom in there. As soon as I locked the door, it sounded like everything in the room, which is where we kept our equipment, was thrown in the air. The table flipped over. Yeah. This huge crashing sound. And of course, when I opened the door, everything was in its place. But I swear, when it was happening, it sounded like everything was just chucked around the room. Like
you were pretty surprised when you come out.
The giant table flipped, all of our gear everywhere. It was a tremendous crash.
Yeah.
So that was a nice way to end our stay, I think.
Right, and that really reminds me of one of probably the most outrageous hauntings I think that I've been to, other than investigations. And that one was up at Camp Ripley in Little Falls. And we were staying in one of the old brick buildings. I've told you this story, but they didn't hear it yet. And so we were staying overnight in one of these old brick buildings. I mean, so old they had their own chimneys. I don't know if some of these were barns for horses.
I think those were the World War One buildings.
Yeah,
so they're
old.
older.
And so the building had two sides to it, and separate doors. And we were in one side. It's about 10:15, I think it was. And I'm laying there, and one of my work associates is laying in his bunk down a ways, and we hear this banging around in the room next to us. We're like, well, we must be getting some new neighbors. And so we get up, and I throw my jacket on and flip-flops, I suppose, whatever I had. And we go walking next door, and I had the keys to that door, too. And I open up the back door. I said, well, they're going to need access to the bathroom anyway. So I open up the back door. We walk in. It's pitch black. There's nobody there.
Not a thing, right?
I'm like, that is absolutely insane. Kind of hard to explain. We went back, went to bed. Not another word all night. The following night, we stayed there 2 nights. Exact same time, like 10:15. To the second. But this time, it was just nuts. It sounded like tables getting thrown around. It sounded like a horse kicking its feet up, its hind legs up and hitting it was so loud. I literally thought World War III was going on in that one little room. I sent that one guy around one side, I ran around the other side, and we both came in the doors at the same time. And we rushed inside, and it's just black. Nothing. The dust wasn't even shook up. There was only one table in there. There was no markings anywhere.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. I don't know how you can even explain it sometimes.
Pretty neat.
But that's part of what it is. And that's kind of... when you
yeah.
said that really reminded me of that story.
It was amazing.
So it doesn't really fit in per se, but it's a great story.
I'm really glad they didn't chuck everything around. That would have been a pain to clean up.
Yeah, because we would have had to clean it all up the next morning.
Every single container that you had open, all full of the tiny little things, just everywhere. Cameras smashed.
Yes.
Crazy.
Just nuts.
Okay.
So, yeah, absolutely. Great experience at the Thayer. 3rd time we've been there.
Yep.
And we are looking forward to going again.
Absolutely love the place.
And like I say, we encourage you. If anything that you guys want us to do stories on like this, anytime you think of something, send me a message. We have picked up on a couple stories already, and we have a couple that we have to do that we owe people. We have that one out in Wisconsin. We got to knock that out yet. And but I mean, we love to tell stories, and we're gonna do one soon on equipment. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, we'll do an equipment primer.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we.
And the next 2 weeks, we had to do an equipment one because we get a lot of requests to kind of see the equipment.
And Rochelle, the details will come out for the tours.
Yes.
So the date once again is the 25th of May.
25th of May.
Yep. And there's going to be one at 6 and then one at 8.
Yep.
But Russell posted details soon,
Right.
soon enough. You should see those come out.
So it's going to be fun. And if anything, come out and see Mark and Russ.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time.
And we'll probably talk about this a little bit every time.
I'm sure we will keep bringing it up over and over. Hello, Christine.
And one more plug for the hotel. It's a fun place to stay. And also, once again, go down there for the food.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's not too far from St. Cloud if you live in this area.
Right. Or cities, everything.
So just a little plug for the Thayer.
Excellent.
Yep.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And have a great week. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Yep, we'll be here next Tuesday. So 7 o'clock. All right, bye everybody.
Bye now.
And